Dutch angles. This is already starting to get scary.
What's my Halloween costume for this year? Matt Dillon's Jack from the house that Jack built. If you decide to start a Deadpool fan account. The Festival of Sowen is coming faster than you think, and that only means one thing. You're either going trick-or-treating, indulging in the autumnal atmosphere, telling scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of the Halloweens that happened so long ago, or you're just sitting in your living room with the people that you love watching Halloween-free Season of the Witch, which is said by many to be the best Halloween movie. But for me, it's usually the time of the year where I come out of my hidey hole and give you a yearly Halloweeny review. And not just any Halloweeny review, a Halloweeny review of a found footage franchise. This is probably going to be the only time I'm ever going to do this. Today, we're looking at VHS, the Dr. Pepper to Paranormal Activities Pepsi. Most particularly their anthology segments, which range from being well-written, well-produced, and genuinely terrifying flicks, to ending up in VHS viral. And you bet with my love of found footage that I am going to be reviewing all of them, from the wraparound segments that bookend all four of the movies, to that one segment of VHS viral that was deleted from the movie because it felt nothing like VHS. Nor was it found footage to begin with. I don't know why I'm rambling on for this long since I didn't write an intro for this, but let's just get to it before my head explodes.
Number 21, Bone Storm. Basically VHS's equivalent to an identity crisis. This segment is about a group of skateboarders fighting off skeleton cultists with rap music and... yep, that's it. Everyone has already talked about this one, almost to death. The characters are unlikable, the concept is piss poor, it breaks the illusion of found footage by having these unnecessary freeze frames, and it's an unbearably nihilistic end to what is already considered to be one of the worst horror sequels of all time, so luckily, I don't have to talk about this one. Moving on. Number 20, Dante The Great. The segment started off promisingly enough, but just like the rest of Viral, it continued to exist. The special effects are alright, I guess. It even features the famous cardboard ribcage. Wonderful stuff. I don't know why this was even in this collection at all, since this barely even feels like a found footage project, at least up until the end. At least Justin Welborn looks like he was having a good time. Overall, not nearly as bad as Bone Storm, but it could have been so much more. Number 19, The Sick Thing That Happened to Emily When She Was Younger. God, why is this title so long? Yeah, I didn't care for this one. It's just a boring and condensed take on your run-of-the-mill supernatural ghost haunting films, which is a subgenre I was never a fan of. I can see some people citing this as their favorite VHS segment, but for me, I think it's agonizingly dull. Not to mention the fact that it's just sleazy for the sake of being sleazy. Seriously, that ending was just unnecessary. Number 18, Vicious Circles. Easily the worst framing narrative out of the whole franchise. It goes on for way too long, and the majority of the scenes are just pointless, and they're only there just to pad out the runtime and nothing else. Seriously though, the barbecue massacre and the taxi scene could have been taken out of the story and nobody would bat an eye. It's no wonder why people have already forgotten about this movie. Number 17, Second Honeymoon. It's not quite as messy and visually confusing as the other four that I've already discussed, but it drags on for longer than necessary, and it was an anticlimactic transition from the previous segment, a la Amateur Night. Number 16, Phase 1 Clinical Trials. I always found this one to be bland and mediocre for some reason, but even the biggest sourpusses can agree that the ending was top-notch, and was a great way to prepare us for the madness we were about to endure. And with that in mind, should I really put it this low despite disliking only half of it?
So, if I want private time, what do I do? How do I turn this off?
Well, you can't.
It's pretty difficult to tell here, so who directed this? Adam Wingard? I wonder where else he's worked. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh hey, I actually like this movie. Number 15, Holy Hell. I found the framing narrative for VHS 94 pretty dull for some reason, and it felt like the narrative had just stopped rather than coming to a tight conclusion. But nevertheless, it managed to redeem itself by the end. Oh boy, did it redeem itself. Number 14, Parallel Monsters. This was pretty strange, but the other segments in Viral were pretty strange too. This one just took it a step too far. It is the best segment out of the whole movie, but then again, that's not a very high bar to climb over considering which film we're in. Number 13, Tape 52. Alright, time to get the other two framing narratives out of the way. This one's nothing special, but as a way to tie all the segments together, it's alright to say the least. Number 12, Tape 49. The characters were pretty likable, and I'm more confident in saying that this is the best one, but it is from one of the best found footage movies, so it's expected. Number 11, Tuesday the 17th. Or as I like to call it, yet another slasher movie, found footage edition. But to give credit where credit is due, as a slasher movie, it's pretty fun. It even features some of my favorite stereotypes like the stoner, the jock, the sleazy woman, and flaky. I don't know, the script told me to improvise, what else was I supposed to? Number 10, The Storm Drain. This short is about a news reporter going into a tunnel where a ritual is taking place only to find a freaky humanoid rat creature and... Michael Rosen?
The weak ones just used to keel over and die.
The tunnel has always been one of my favorite settings in a found footage movie, and the filmmakers here made the most of that setting. To make a long story short, it's the tunnel if you bought it off of eBay. Number 9, Empty Week. What could I say? I'm a sucker for stories that are told in a single setting. The one problem I have with this short is that even with the fuzzy VHS filter, this short looks way too clean for this world. Number 8, The Subject. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for saying this, but this segment is like if JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and Frankenstein agreed to make a crossover together, and it ended up being the amalgamation of all of their ideas glued together. There's no other way around it, but that's probably the only explanation on why this short is so awesome. Number 6, Slumber Party Alien Abduction. Yet another short that takes off with its concept and never lets up. This could be my bias speaking, but this was the first segment in this series I recall really enjoying. Hell, I even made a YTP of it, back when I was still obsessed with that kind of stuff.
Because you guys suck. You suck. You know something? You suck.
And it wouldn't be possible without its great pacing and albeit intentionally annoying characters. The one thing I really hated about this segment is that the dog death was deeply unnecessary, but if you take that out of the equation, it's pretty good. Number 5, Gorgeous Vortex. Number 4, Amateur Night. Now this is how you open a found footage anthology movie. Take notes, VHS Faro, that was pretty weird what you did back there. The short excels at acting and tension, mainly because you have no idea what's going to happen next. I can't remember the last time a found footage movie has kept me on my toes throughout its runtime. Besides that as well. Okay, fine, it isn't the first time, but it's still pretty tense. The main female lead was also another bit of spot-on casting, mainly because of her cute yet soul-piercing eyes, and fun fact, this was the only VHS segment to get a spin-off movie, entitled Siren, released in 2016. Check it out, it's pretty alright. Number 3, Terror. I don't know how else to describe this. This fits the title of the film so well, it's kind of horrifying. Number 2, Safe Haven. This segment has already been hailed as one of the best in the anthology subgenre time and time again. It's the kind of filmmaking that'll stick with you long after it's over, especially with that haunting as hell ending. Do I even need to say anything else? Not really. Number 1, 1031 Night Eves. Yep, this was the segment that launched radio silence into the mainstream horror world, and I gotta admit, if you told me that these guys would go on to make Ready or Not, I would have said something relating to Minecraft or SMG4 or something, but I would have enjoyed this. The special effects are amazing. They never looked unconvincing. The acting is amazing. Everyone's believable in their own quirky way. The payoff is amazing. It's a massive contrast to its slow start, leading up to a bombastic finale. Not to mention the low quality style working in the short's favor, since it's trying to mimic the time period the short is set in. It's a great way to close an anthology movie like this, and it easily takes the cake as my favorite segment out of the past 4 VHS movies.
So yeah, those were the segments in VHS, everybody. I just remembered that I didn't write an ending for this video either, so... I'm transitioning into midair. Ooh, happy Halloween!
Hey, Halloween's over. What's your excuse?